That's perfect.
A sign has two components, a physical component, which is called the signifier, or the plane of expression, and the signified, which is the idea represented or conveyed by the signifier. In some cases, the meaning and the content seem to outweigh the medium or physical object used to convey that meaning. The meaning seems superimposed on that physical object. What are the visual cues that will generally signal meaning, that will distinguish a blob of matter that shows no sign of potential meaning, other than its own physical presence, from an object that seems meaningful?
There's a kind of fruit. It's fresh fruit. Different countries coming from. It's Indian okra, and this one is coming from South America. It's Indian lime. It's called Karela. Bitter melon, Karela, or you can call them bitter gourd. It's good for diabetes. Hot pepper. Ugandan ginger. This is coming from India, Uganda. Chinese garlic, cabbage. It's called organic cabbage. Tomato. This is called jelly coconut. It's a fresh coconut. It's fresh. They have a water inside, coconut water we call it. This is avocado as well. This is called apple banana. It's coming from Uganda. This is coming from Uganda as well. This is come from St. Lucia. It's called blago banana. No, we just put all the green one side and the purple is another side. We're just coming from a different country.
Jean Baudrillard, in The Procession of Simulacra, defines this term as follows. Simulation is no longer that of a territory, a referential being, or a substance. It is the generation by models of a real without origin or reality, a hyperreal. It is no longer a question of imitation, nor duplication, nor even parody. It is a question of substituting the signs of the real for the real.
There's a heron.
Oh wow.
Further along. That was built during the millennium. That lights up at night. So I look at you, I look to the side, or don't you mind? When I was a boy, we used to come on holiday by trains, came to the station. It closed in the 1960s, I think, along with hundreds of others in the country. To save money, there was a man called Dr. Beeching, a politician, Labour politician. A good way to save money. We closed hundreds of stations.
The blue conical monument Christopher had previously pointed out to me was replicated at a smaller scale less than 30 meters away, behind a well-trimmed hedge that separated the memorial space from the minigolf area. If Bude and Stratton have officially been the towns the furthest away from the English railway network since the closure of their respective train stations, Bude was not ready to sink into oblivion and had proudly taken charge of its own iconicity. Isolation has its downfalls. But it also means that no external narrative is imposed from the outside, and Bude was free to create and sustain its own narrative from the inside. This narrative seems to be made out of colorful, low-tech means. And celebrates the seaside landscape that surrounds Bude by recreating some natural elements that compose it, with precision, but also with a touch of fantasy.
Yes, so inside here, so this is kind of our bouldering section, so obviously like our low rope section. Years ago, we used to take kids and abseil down cliffs, but we can't anymore due to erosion. So this is obviously our, like, where ropes would be in our rope deployment section. You come in, and basically you go through loads of tunnels. There's a hatch just by there, and then this one leads to this one over here. This is like a climbing wall in here. Come up there, so you like climb up, and then through there. This hatch leads to this hatch over here, and then basically there's loads of tunnels underneath us.
He explained that the tunnels were too narrow for adult bodies, and the only way to pull the kids out were through these hatches. I wonder why there's like vacuum areas under it.
Probably just wear from the sea, just like erosion, everything, wave damages. Those are the train tracks, yeah. There's only little trains.
We found him on the street. He was homeless. You want to record him? Where there's been a plant here is based on the erosion of the seawall, which has been happening for the last sort of 150, 200 years. And there's a lot of different opinions of what's right and what's wrong. But this area is now designated as an SSSI site. That complicates any sort of construction work.
Dave went on to explain that what he called the ecology had historically taken away people's natural way of doing things. He then proceeded to lay out his strategy to repair the seawall from coastal erosion. Thanks to new radar technologies, he could detect the underground voids that were being caved out by the sea because of how the tide was coming through the joints of the seawall's infrastructure. They would then start to fill these voids by injecting polyurethane into them. Once injected, it would solidify. It was from there on fully contained and was not going to move. The polyurethane was for him a durable and permanent solution.
The sea has allowed itself to, the sea, nature takes over. Ultimately, nature will deal with whatever it wants to deal with. So, man tries to deal with nature. Holland do it better than most countries because they're below ground, below sea level.